Welcome to the Practical Growth Podcast. I'm your host, E.B. Johnson, top writer on Medium.com, published author, and master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming. You've landed on the podcast that takes you on a journey into the heart of relationships and self-discovery. This is a must listen for those who are ready to overcome their toxic relationships and their toxic patterns. You can expect real talk, practical guidance, and raw and relatable guests that you'll be talking about for weeks. Let's get into it. Hello again, my lovelies. It is me, EB, your favorite Medium.com blogger, your favorite podcaster, your favorite Narc Talk, TikTok, NLP coach. And we're back. We're back after a nice, relaxing week off. And this one's a good one. It's a juicy one. You know, I always deliver on the topics. I always listen to what you want to hear. And this topic today is no different. We are going to be breaking down the choice that a narcissistic person makes to become a parent. Because listen, this is one of the big questions that I've had in my own healing journey. And I got to ask it for two moms. And it's also one that I know so many of my clients have. You know, I accept that my parent's a narcissist. I understand that that's who they are and they'll never change, but I don't understand why. Like, why would they have children? Why would they build a family? Why would they bring us into the world if all they really care about is themselves? So I'm going to break that answer down for you today because as with all things narcissism, it is not straightforward. It's very complex. So we're going to walk through the choice that a narcissistic person, and we're talking like a diagnosable narcissistic person, okay? Not just internet buzzword narcissist, a real narcissist, a true DSM-5 classifiable narcissist. Why would they choose to become a parent? If they're so grandiose, if they think that, you know, they're the center of the universe and they only care about themselves, why would they make the ultimate compassionate choice of having a child? We're going to break it down today so that you can accept it and you can heal and you can move on. Just before we jump in, though, I have some extremely exciting news for anyone who is curious about getting coached by me or anyone who is ready to make some big improvements in their lives while building a major sense of community. My group coaching membership is launching on Thursday, October 6th. That's right. For one monthly subscription, you can join my group coaching program, and each week you get a 1-hour live training with me and a host of other incredible guests that you're absolutely going to love, you're going to relate to, and you're going to be so incredibly inspired by. And not just that, you get a ton of extra exclusive content. You get extra videos, you get free articles, ebooks, and all kinds of goodies from me. And it's all included in your monthly subscription fee. This is a great way to build a sense of community while you fast track your own healing and recovery path, whether you just want to build some self-esteem or you're trying to recover from narcissistic abuse. Everyone is included here, and it's one of the easiest, most flexible, and most accessible ways to work with me. Now, like all opportunities to work with me, this is going to be limited to a select number of individuals. However, there is no application necessary. So if you are interested, you need to make sure that you are there on October 6th, ready to sign up on Patreon. It's going to be first come, first serve. So get yourself on my mailing list to make sure that you have the most up-to-date information, announcements, and all the links that you're going to need to sign up for that group coaching membership. You can do that by visiting my website, therealebjohnson.com, or clicking the link in any of my social media profiles, including TikTok, Instagram, or even Twitter. Ready to set yourself up for success in 2023? Then make sure you are signed up for this group coaching membership. You're not going to want to miss out on this. And if you are already one of my private coaching clients, or you're one of the private coaching clients I've worked with over the last few months, you are going to get free access to this group coaching membership. So make sure you head over to therealebjohnson.com, click on blog, and you'll find out more there. All right, narcissistic parents. Let's get into this. Let's really dig into this. Why would a diagnosable narcissist choose to become a parent? Because it seems like the most contradictory thing a narcissist could possibly do, right? I mean, the internet's painted a picture of a narcissist as someone who's just like this grandiose, self-obsessed maniac who just sucks all the air out of the room the minute they walk in. Like, why would that person willingly take on this kind of role that demands the most compassion, the most empathy, the most kindness and softness out of any role in the world? Like, why would a narcissist choose to do that if they're just these black holes of self-involvement? Seems contrary, right? It's not. It's really not when you really honestly look at the reality of it, okay? Motherhood and fatherhood is one of the easiest places for a narcissist to hide. It's a mask that they can wear that in most cultures and most places in this world, in our societies, it's an unquestionable role, right? And that's what narcissists love. Narcissists love not being questioned. By becoming a parent, they can disguise their abusive and often Machiavellian natures. They're able to slide into that role of parent and then completely feed and supply themselves in the most intense ways possible. It's not a hard decision for someone who's very truly narcissistic to become a parent. Many of them come to parenthood on the back of their own calculated and insecure natures. It's a natural place. It's a natural role for them. To truly understand this choice, I think it helps a lot if we really, let's actually break down what narcissism is, right? Like, not just like, that's a narcissistic tendency. Like, let's actually talk about diagnosably, clinically, what makes a person narcissistic? If a person were to go and sit down in front of a psychiatrist or a therapist or a counselor, how would those people be diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder? Okay, because it's got a lot of it, the understanding of true narcissism has gotten lost. So in order for someone to achieve a clinical diagnosis for narcissistic personality disorder, there's a certain combination of symptoms that have to be present. And they are this. There has to be an exaggerated sense of self-importance, okay? And you really have to know what that looks like, because that looks different for different types of narcissistic manifestation. Not everyone's NPD manifests the same. A grandiose narcissist, that exaggerated sense of self-importance, really, really obvious, right? Like a Donald Trumpian, I'm not talking politics, just personality, that kind of bravado. I am the best. I am the greatest. But then you have the covert narcissist who still thinks the same thing. They'll just show it differently. They moan and complain about everyone around them. They tear people down. They, destroy someone's self-esteem in order to actually rip that person apart so that they can then put themselves above or act like they're superior. There's also a delusional sense of self-entitlement, okay? There's got to be a sense of entitlement. I am owed. I am going to be rich because I deserve it. Not because I have merit, because I deserve it. They demand superiority along those lines without any achievement, okay? I want to be a doctor. Okay, we'll go to school. Well, no, I don't need to go to school to be a doctor. I know how to be a doctor. Well, that's not how it works. They will also inflate skills. They'll inflate their talents and achievements. There's this very funny saying that they say, with anyone who runs a startup, you take whatever they say and you knock it down to 30%. And that's probably what the truth is, because everyone talks bigger about themselves to try to make their business seem better than it is. It's the same thing with narcissism. They will inflate everything. It's like a fisherman's tale. Everything they say is a bit of a fisherman's tale. They also have an obsession with power and material success, and it doesn't come from a desire to achieve or to prove that they have used their skills in order to earn certain things. A narcissist's obsession with power and material success comes from an inherent desire to subjugate people or to put them into that place of inferiority, because the narcissist compulsively needs to be superior, because a narcissist is fundamentally so insecure, and they mask that insecurity with projecting themselves and forcing themselves into the top of the pile in real life. There's also, and this is a big one, a distinct and obvious empathy deficit. Okay, there's a big, chop that one up, didn't I? There is a distinct empathy deficit that comes with narcissism. And that's a huge part of the clinical diagnosis. You cannot have a diagnosis of NPD without this empathy deficit. And that empathy deficit is essentially this narcissist cannot relate to the feelings of other people. They are certainly capable of understanding their own feelings and motivations and for holding space for that. And they feel the full range of emotions, but they cannot relate that to other people. They cannot hold space for other people's emotions. They do not value it, and they aren't able to put themselves in other people's shoes. You might see a narcissistic person also demanding perfection in family and friends, even if they don't present that perfection themselves. They treat people in categories. They treat people as less than, as lower than. Narcissistic people, narcissistic personalities also demand compliance and obedience. And again, depending on what kind of narcissist you're dealing with, this will look different. They're directed by extreme envy and jealousy because inherently a narcissistic person is not self-directed. Okay. They have a very unstable self-image. Their self-image is based on chasing what they think other people want. They are always trying to project and to create this image that they believe will get them acceptance and validation from other people. It never really comes from a true internal connection to self and a true desire authentically of their own, generated solely by their own personality or desires. There's also an inability to take feedback or criticism. And last but not least, an avoidance of accountability at all costs, which we've all experienced and we all know well. Now, a person can present any number of these traits in any combination, but fundamentally the results are the same, okay? If they show these combinations, they get diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, and then we see whether grandiose, covert, or communal. These people with NPD, they have a certain self-obsession, an obsession with not allowing people to see the real inner them. They are insecure and they require that self-direction. Most importantly, a truly narcissistic person demands soothing from those around them. They cannot self-soothe. They need everyone around them to handle their emotions for them and to soothe those emotional states for them. When they are partners, okay, so when they're spouses, before they become parents, they can be Machiavellian, demeaning, detached, demanding, hostile, and that increases with parenthood, okay? A narcissistic person is not capable of providing emotional safety, and even as your friend, they will work hard to devalue you, to put you in a place that is lower than theirs because they need to feel as though they're better than everyone around them. And that is what makes them so dangerous, so dangerous as a parent, because once they get placed at the top of a family, a narcissistic personality can become even more vicious, even more damaging, even more malignant. Narcissistic people, true narcissists, like the ones described above, they demand perfection, not just out of their friends, but also out of their family, which includes their children. And they mold their families to fit whatever projection they believe best suits their delusional desires. So how does this tie into parenthood? How does this tie into the choice that a narcissistic person makes to become a parent? Because it doesn't seem to make sense. It doesn't seem to make sense. If they want to be the center of the universe, why would they have a child? Because children need so much care. They need so much care. Whether you want to or not, you have to take focus off of yourself in order to keep them alive, even if you're giving the bare minimum. If a narcissist is so insecure and vicious, why would they do this? Well, that's it. That insecurity is what drives a lot of them to become a parent. But there's so many more tempting elements to this for someone who's truly narcissistic. Being a parent provides them with a power trip and a chance to create a fictitious image that no one can question. No one is allowed to question. And that's what we find usually as the first big motivating factor behind a narcissist's choice to become a parent. Narcissists are always working to project a specific image, a certain image, that they are this perfect person, that they are this person who's like in command, in control of themselves and their lives, and they have all the answers and they have it all put together. Family is just another projection for a narcissistic person. Hobbled by their own insecurities, they use their families to create a hologram. Okay, to the world, their family allows them to be seen as a whole, normal, successful human being, but behind closed doors, we know it's anything but that. That's why narcissists only love the child that's performing for them, right? Partners and offspring alike have to project to fit the image that fits the delusion that the narcissistic person is always working to project. That means partners and children have to behave a certain way. They have to think a certain way. They have to look a certain way. When they grow up, they better have certain jobs, certain families, certain roles in the community. If you disappoint any of those expectations of the narcissistic person, any of those demands that the narcissistic parent makes, it's trouble, right? You're looking at major alienation from the family, potentially total disownment, an estrangement, and you might be looking at other punishments as well. You might be looking at a lifetime of harassment or really nasty behaviors And these things carry on into adulthood. They'll start in childhood when you start disappointing or questioning that narcissistic parent, and they continue through your adulthood, with the narcissist adult children only getting recognition when they build their lives in a certain way, when they select certain partners, when they go to certain churches, when they have certain jobs and certain promotions and they make a certain amount of money. All of that feeds back to that narcissistic person's desire to project that image of, look at me, I'm a good parent. Look at these children I've created. They are proof that I'm a good parent. And if I'm a good parent, that means that I'm the best. I'm a good person. I am not capable of mistakes. I am all those things I thought I was. And really inside, they're just trying to fill the hole of insecurity that's inside them in the back of their head, constantly going, you're the worst person in the room. You're the smallest person in this room. Now, I don't want you to think that it's all like this kind of nasty, manipulative, Machiavellian kind of approach for the narcissist either, right? Because there can be a deeper level to it too. A much deeper level to a narcissistic person's decision to become a parent. Cruel though they may end up being, abusive though they are, narcissists are still human, and narcissists, contrary to popular belief, are fully capable of their own range of emotions. They can feel their emotions. They understand their emotions. They can hurt. They can feel insecure. They can fear abandonment. They can, be uncertain of talents or skills or their looks or whatever it is. Narcissists can feel all of those things that we feel. But what makes them narcissistic is they don't feel it for other people, right? They don't understand that you have those experiences. They can't tie together that you feel pain the same as they do, and that it affects you the same way. Along those lines, narcissists, even though they have this deficit of empathy, they crave love. Okay? They still crave love. They still crave affection. So they find partners for that. They go and dig out partners who put up with their crap because they want someone there to quote unquote love, even though it's arguable if they can really love someone because they don't feel empathy, which is a crucial component of love. And they build families for the same reason. A lot of narcissists crave the love that they cannot and will not give to others. All right. And the problem, though, is the direction of this love. Narcissists expect everyone around them to love them. It's not uncommon to hear a narcissistic parent say, well, I had children because I just wanted something and someone that was going to love me forever, that would never leave me. It's not a doll, my love. It's a human being. Narcissists expect everyone around them to pour love into them, but they're not willing to do the same. They're not willing to pour that love back into others, not in the way that true love works, which is like, support and empathy. It's not just material goods. Their love is very conditional. A narcissistic parent's love is very conditional, and it's based entirely on you meeting their expectations at every single turn. And that's why so many narcissistic people bring children into this world, because they decide that a child is an endless source of love. They expect those children to give them love unconditionally, but they have no plan, no idea, no intention of giving that same unconditional love to their child. They will discard them. They will discard them the second they disappoint them. But here's another strange one, right? Here's another strange motivator. And I have heard this from narcissistic people, and I've heard this from some of my clients who've had malignant narcissistic parents. Narcissists will also become parents because of competition. Because of competition. It could be just societal competition in general, right? They may feel as though, let's say they're a woman who feels expected to have children. So a narcissistic woman goes, I'm going to have children because that is what this kind of person does. And I'm trying to project that kind of person. So I need children in order to be that person. I need a family in order to be that person. So I'll make them and I'll have the 2.5 kids in the house and the dog and the da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? They might be on that kind of competitive level with society, competing to create that perfect nuclear family or whatever it is. But it's also not uncommon to see a narcissistic person competing with someone else in the family. Okay, kids and building a family gives a lot of attention. It gives a lot of validation. And if a narcissist is in competition with a sibling, let's say, or a cousin, you can see them competing with that family member for attention and praise by having children. Let's say their sister gets married, well, then they've got to get pregnant, right? Or if the sister gets pregnant, they've got to get pregnant, and then they've got to get pregnant again. If they've got one, they've got to have two. It's about one-upping, and it's about covering up that insecurity again and competing with everyone around them as a mechanism for control. Here is the biggest reason, though, that we see a narcissistic person become a parent. Are you ready for this? This is the real push behind why this kind of toxic person who has no intention of being otherwise would bring another human being into their mess, their wreck of a life. So even though the internet has taught us that narcissists are grandiose and that they brag about themselves all the time, that's not really how it works. They might do those things, but that's not what's behind it. Okay, that's not how we identify narcissists. Any grandiosity you see in a narcissist, all of that superiority in them comes from one place, and that is insecurity. Every narcissist, whether they have trauma or not, fundamentally has a voice in the back of their head that's telling them that they are crap. They are crap. They are not good. They are the worst person in the world, the ugliest, the least successful, whatever it is. And that in order for them to defeat that, because they're terrified of that, narcissists are terrified of that, and they're not willing to face that or accept any truth that might be in those things. So they frantically scramble to create this person in the physical world who is none of those things. And they project, and they create this fragile fake self. No matter what kind of narcissist you're dealing with, they all have unstable and fragile egos. And that is why so many of them become parents. They cover up their cruelties and pretend that they have a moral high ground because they are a mother or because they are a father. That's what their families have to feed. With a family in tow behind them, with a partner who pretends to be happy and who scrambles to fix everything and make it all nice, and children who perform out of fear all the time, who perform, try to get straight A's, try to get the best job, try to get into the bougiest school. That's how the narcissist masks their insecurities and makes themselves look normal. They look healthy, they look secure, they look like they're in charge of their world, but you peel back the layers and you start to see all of the fear of exposure and all of the insecurities that lie behind this warped and twisted family they're building. And those are the big motivating factors. Those are the big motivating factors that push a truly narcissistic person into becoming a parent. And even if that is the parent that you had, even if that is the truth, which knowing these things, right? Knowing these things is not a magic pill. Knowing why someone did something is not going to magically fix anything. It helps you to understand their motivations. And when you understand someone's motivations, you can see the whole situation more clearly. You can better understand your own motivations and how you wish to respond to someone like that in future. But what you really need to understand if you're raised by a narcissistic parent is that they have screwed up your development, okay? For whatever reason that they chose to become a parent, they have screwed up your development. They will mess up your ability to form stable relationships. They will destroy your authentic sense of self. They'll make you someone who cannot be independent, or they'll make you someone who's independent to a fault. And they take away from you any kind of true self-direction and any kind of healthy attachment that you might have otherwise had. So if you're really ready to heal from your narcissistic parent, from a narcissistic family, and that toxic, dysfunctional upbringing, you have to, one, start by acknowledging and honoring your feelings. You got to open up, accept your emotions, learn to work with them, not to avoid them. Next, you have to learn everything you can about narcissism. And I'm not talking about what your favorite person on like Hello Giggles said about narcissism, okay? Not even like your favorite person on Medium, whatever. I'm talking about true narcissism. You get on Mayo Clinic, you get on real medical bodies and you study narcissism. You learn everything you can about narcissism. You talk to a therapist who is informed on true narcissism, not someone who just thinks it's a grandiose personality. And you figure out what it is that makes a narcissist tick. Then you accept that you cannot change them. You will never change your family. You will not change what happened to you. You'll probably never get an apology or any kind of accountability. There's no going back. It's done. It happened. If you're damaged, you're damaged. You can repair yourself. You can improve yourself. You don't need anyone from the past to do that. You don't need anything in the past to be different in order to improve yourself right here and right now. There's nothing in the past that can help you do that anyway. The tools are here in the present. So accept that you cannot change them and look to the future. Next, make sure you're paying attention to your family roles. If you're still in touch with your narcissistic parent, stop playing their games and find safe ways to set boundaries with them for yourself. Then you've got to stop blaming yourself. You got to stop. You got to stop. The narcissistic parent is going to project all of their insecurities onto you, and you can't allow it. You've got to learn how to break through that by falling in love with yourself and valuing your happiness and your peace over the misery they've put on your shoulder for years. Last but not least, get in sync with your needs and your emotions. Increase your emotional intelligence. Learn everything you can about emotional regulation and learn how to regulate the reactions that you have to your current situations and to the memories of the dysfunctional past that you were handed by your narcissistic parent. This journey is not an easy one. It's not an easy one, but it becomes a lot easier when you commit to a path of radical acceptance. Radical acceptance. Lean in hard and just accept that it happened. Accept who your parent was, who the parent is, who they choose to be, who they continue to choose to be, and the damage they've done. Think of it like creating a roadmap for yourself, right? For you to create a roadmap to the place you really want to be, you first have to figure out exactly where you're at. Not kind of where you're at, not in the ballpark. Where are you right now in this moment? From there, you can figure out what you actually want your life to look like and what actual steps you can take to improve it. And then beyond acceptance, look for help. Look for help. Open up. Open up. Find people you trust. People who are informed. People who care. Build a chosen tribe for yourself. There's a power in that. Okay? You don't need your parents. If they cause more harm than good, you can choose a chosen tribe of people who provide you with that same love, that same respect, that same validation. Love yourself more than the narcissistic parent who prioritized themselves over your healthy development. Give yourself a chance to be happy and do it on your own terms. And that is it for today's episode. Wow, it was a good one. It was really, 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 really good. I hope it's been informative. You know, as always, I hope this has kind of like illuminated something for you, opened your eyes, made you think of something in a different way, made you think of yourself in a better light. Because that's all that really matters. If you did enjoy the episode, consider leaving a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts. If you take a screenshot of that review and email it to me or send it to me on Instagram, I'll give you a free ebook. You can pick any of the ebooks in my shop. I will send you any one of them for free. You just got to leave a 5-star review and send me a screenshot of it once it goes live. For everyone else, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for following me on medium.com. Thank you for watching my videos on TikTok and for asking me all of your incredible questions. You really, 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 really make it worthwhile. And I love helping you guys so much. It's changed my life in every way. And I don't think any of you know how much you've saved me. So until next time, keep your heads up, keep your eyes on the stars, keep moving forward. Bye-bye.